Sorry. 5 years ago, I stood alone in a corner of the courtyard at new student initiation, hiding, quiet, and nervous. I scanned my eyes across the crowds of people anxiously before averting my gaze back to my shoes. A few girls came up to me, persistently yet kindly, asking me questions. What's your name? What grade are you in? Are you excited to start Archer? Maybe I was only able to mumble a couple of incoherent words before quickly walking away because I was a painfully shy and awkward 8th grader. But I like to think I was simply a bit overwhelmed. After all, I had just fallen through the rabbit hole. I was in Wonderland. To my sweet, sweet class of 2016, I'd like to thank you for taking me to Wonderland. When I close my eyes and think of Archer, I understand what that wise Cheshire Cat meant. We are all mad here, and I can't deny it. After 4 years with you, class of 2016, I think I've gone utterly, completely, wonderfully mad. So, as I run through my 4 years at Archer and my many, many adventures in Wonderland, I see feet stomping, shaking the ground as we frantically run through the school, yelling, "You're late, you're late!" I see a tree lined with the tiniest teacups dancing in the wind. I see pink sashes, silver tiaras, and glittering bubbles rising into the air above the fountain. I see a pile of girls crowded around the library's purple sofas, tears of hysterical laughter filling their eyes and streaming down their cheeks, covered in handmade quilts that feel like memories and smell like stories. I see girls lying beneath the sun in the courtyard with closed eyes and satisfied smiles. So maybe we have all fallen through the rabbit hole, and maybe we are all mad here. We are not mad in the Mad Hatter or Queen of Hearts way, but beautifully mad, with passion, with creativity, with a confidence that we can and will break boundaries and do the impossible. Now, there's no Wonderland without a tea party, and no Sweet 16 without a birthday cake. As some of you know, I love baking, vegan baking in particular. I love making delicious desserts and sharing with people. But the reason I love baking the most is the sheer pleasure of watching as a multitude of disparate ingredients come together. As the batter rises, as flour and sugar, baking soda and milk, or almond milk, all come to life. Maybe I really have gone mad, but my dear Sweet 16s, I think we've turned into a cake. Or a muffin, or tart, perhaps in my case a vegan almond butter square. But whatever you prefer, delicious and undoubtedly some sort of baked good. Every time I begin baking, I lay each ingredient out on my kitchen table and think of how astounding it is that this group of random foods will magically become something so beautiful. Now, it may seem that mixing toxic oil paints, a box of living baby chicks, an honors research paper about the effects of blood oranges on cancer cells, a bright blue Absalom the caterpillar, an essay on the postmodern Los Angeles, a short story about ancient Greek and Roman artworks in a bar brawl, endless Oracle articles, beautifully choreographed dances, stage directions, photography negatives, a fuzzy pink blanket, a tortured 16-year-old girl named Briella, and a pink elephant's head would make for a disgusting and probably poisonous cake. But in the same way that baking soda mixes with flour and sugar and eggs, producing a sort of alchemy, without each of these girls, this cake would not have risen. One of the defining moments I always return to when thinking of the class of 2016 is the night of our grade sleepover almost a year ago. We spent hours upon hours sitting, sharing how much we love each other. We went around speaking about individuals we were grateful for, telling each other how grateful we are to be a part of this grade. I think we had to cut it off around 3 in the morning, but I know we could have gone on the whole night simply sitting and attempting to share and explain the overwhelming love we all feel for each other. I was sitting with a fellow senior a couple weeks ago, and she turned to me and said, "I've just been walking through the courtyard, breathing really deeply recently." And as I looked around the courtyard, where I first walked in, afraid and unsure of myself, I knew what she meant. I want to breathe it all in. I want to take in all the hours spent sitting and talking, worrying and studying, reading and sleeping. And when I breathe in Archer, when I close my eyes and think of Archer, I'm breathing in the experiences this group of girls gave me. I want to breathe it all in because I want to remember the time I've had here. I want to remember the absurd dinner party my 10th grade English class hosted in response to a social experiment. I want to remember dancing in the courtyard during Color Wars, our whole grade eating lunch together in one hallway, and dancing to Girls Just Want to Have Fun at the LA Food Bank. And maybe that's why it's so hard to leave Archer. I don't want to climb back out the rabbit hole. But looking at the class of 2016 and our time at Archer, I see that what makes this class so special is that we have all had and have the courage to take a bite of anything labeled "eat me." Both symbolically and literally, but whether it's tasting traditional dishes in Guatemala or India, biting into a curious-looking bowl of minestrone without trepidation in the North Cascades of Oregon, discovering a newfound love for poetry, or picking up art senior year, the class of 2016 inspires me with their astounding passion and fearlessness. And yes, at times, picking up a cookie that says "eat me" may be a mistake. At times, we may shrink and feel small. We may feel too big, like there isn't enough room for us wherever we look. But what I do know is that each time Alice took a bite of a cookie, each step she took in Wonderland took her to new, extraordinary places. And this, class of 2016, is why you make me feel okay about leaving Archer. Because at Archer, I'm more myself than anywhere else in the world. I was recently talking to my older sister, Chase, about how nervous I am to leave Archer. I was telling her I'm scared I won't be able to fully be myself in college because I'm so shy. And she looked at me and said, "But you're not shy anymore." That's when I realized I'm not scared to leave, because Archer has shown me that shy is just a word, and that I don't need to be anything or hide behind any words. I can be whatever I want to be, and I can make new words. I know that the same is true of every single one of these girls. I've changed time and time again throughout my 4 years at Archer, as I've seen my fellow classmates change, but I don't fear these changes anymore. I'm not scared to leave Archer because I know I'll be taking Wonderland with me. As I look at the class of 2016, all I can think is, thank God we're all so very curious. I know that although we're leaving, each of us will spread a bit of Wonderland wherever we go, and I can't wait to see where the rabbit hole leads.